Hi there. I'm Ita Bay, and I want to tell you about my next offering, which I expect will be my next and many future offerings because the work is feels like the most important work that I'm doing, the most valuable work that I could do for you and for myself. Um, I wrote a little story. If you read the blog post that this video is associated with, you'll learn that part of I'll be sharing is about what happened to me when I got triggered in such a way that it hit such a deep wound that I just felt I had to figure out how to solve whatever this is. Like I knew it wasn't because of the actual exchange. I knew it was something inside of me. And it took me on this journey that, to my surprise, actually happened really quickly. And I think it's because I was able to bring like all of these tools that I had been practicing and learning about and developing and teaching over the years, got used in very specific ways. And so what I'm talking about has to do with when you get triggered, when I get triggered. What is that? Right? What is it that it lands and hurts us so badly? And typically we want to tell a story that says, well, it's that person. They did this thing to me. But the truth is, it's actually inside of you. It's inside of me. And what they did, yes, it triggered something in you, but it's actually helping you see a structure inside of you, a story, a thought form, a pattern. And that pattern is draining your life force energy. It's probably running multiple times. Often our triggers are not just one-off things, right? In fact, they are not just one-off things. They're experiences that we have over and over again with different relationships, or we try to create a life in which we're never triggered, right? We have a certain relationship, and if that person triggers us, we end the relationship with them because our intention is we have this belief that the life we want gets constructed by kind of eliminating the bad people and keeping only the good. The problem with that is that it's an illusion. And because what's actually happening is inside of you, it's inside of me. And so you will keep recreating these patterns until you clear them. And this is not news, right? Well, you probably know this already. Um, what I found for myself is that I didn't really know, or even perhaps believe it was possible to get actually right into the core of the problem itself, um, and to uproot it and to surrender it to love, surrender it to God or to the divine. You can use whatever word you like, but ultimately, this is what I'm talking about is a spiritual practice. And it's a practice of learning to take advantage of the opportunity that a trigger presents because it's going to show you something about yourself. And maybe in the moment you can't, you might get uh, um, kind of caught up in it. But a few hours later, maybe the next day or however long it takes, the next week, you can look back and realize, oh, okay, wait, I was triggered. That's something I can clear. I can process this information. And so the processing, which involves the interrupting of the story your ego is telling. And I will tell you, my own experience, I did not want to interrupt. I could feel how attached I was to that story. I really wanted the other person to be wrong, to be the bad guy when I felt so bad, right? And not something that was a part of me, a projection that I had. But that's your ego and it's not serving you. And you can tell because you feel bad, right? You feel bad when you tell the story that your ego is telling about that moment. You know, if it's a story of rejection, for example, then you feel bad if you tell that story. And that indication, I always, people who work with me know if it feels bad, it's not a true thought, right? It's not true. It's not coherent. So when we release the things that are not true, guess what happens? Our life becomes better. And it becomes better in ways that, for me, feel like the words that I use were power and mastery. And I was surprised, actually, to use those words because, we tend to think about power from a power over way, but it really feels like actually my being becomes filled up with um, presence. And presence, when you're fully present, you are in your power. It becomes filled with and open to the divine, open to your own divinity, open into your direct source connection. And it's a practice, of course, to stabilize that and maintain that. But what people have found is that they get this right away. It does not take long. It will not, I mean, in a single session, you will know what I'm talking about. You will taste, experience the truth of your being, the truth of what exists between the tension between you and your trigger, that there is this wholeness that once the two collapse together, once that your fear falls into wholeness, something new arises. And once you taste it, you've tasted reality, and your momentum is in the direction of reality. Momentum is in the direction of coherence. It's in the direction of truth. Um, um, your life is designed for your success. And that's something a friend told me um, a while ago, and I love that phrase. They told to me in the context of traveling, like, because I used to be very nervous when I travel, and he was like, look, the system is designed for your success, right? Um, and so in this case, your life is designed for your success. And one of the ways it's designed is because it feels bad when certain things happen. And it feels bad because that's information that thing, the thoughts that you're generating as a result of that thing are not coherent. They're not true. And when you know the truth is coherent to the truth is the direction of your life. And whether it takes a single session or multiple sessions or however long it takes, it doesn't really matter. You're on the path to actually deleting, not just tolerate, not just kind of crafting a life in which you're insulated from bad things ever happening, which is never going to happen, right? It's the structure of how you're designed, the structure of how life in the physical reality exists is a dual nature. You can't just insulate yourself and try to have only the good, because then what's happening is you are suppressing, you're shadowing, you're putting into shadow all the bad. You'll find that actually you do bad things and you're not even conscious of them, right? Because you're so afraid of this polarity between good and bad. And what we're doing in this practice is actually dissolving the polarity altogether to go from a dual state to a non-dual state. And that can all sound very big, but actually the practice is incredibly accessible. So as I said, you'll get a taste of it right away. So I'm starting my first cohort very soon. If you're listening to this right after I post it, it's in May 2026. It starts on Monday, May 11th. So if you're excited and if you're excited, come join me. come join me. And then if you miss this time window, just look for another cycle, because this is such an important offering. I really want you to have it. I want as many people to have it as possible. Um, in some ways the work, I want to say it's not original. Like I found and kind of walked this because I knew I needed it. Like I knew I needed it for myself, and I happened to have at my fingertips a lot of tools that I could just sort of see, will this work? Will this work? Will this work? And then what's happened is it's kind of taken a very specific shape right now. But I really feel that there are probably many teachers out there, and I hope there are many teachers who are teaching different versions. In some ways, it doesn't matter. Like when I teach you how to do this clearing, this processing, you'll find your own ways. You'll do something that works for you. And I have resources that I will share some of the ways in which I got to refine my own practice. And those resources will help you refine your own version of this practice. No matter what, the important thing is you can do it. You can get started. You can clear these patterns, even patterns around relationship stuff that just don't seem to go away. Money, your polarities around wealth and poverty, and that's a polarity that can clear. Your well, there's an infinite list, right? All of the polarities. The other day I was in a group, and I think because I'm doing this work, life is showing me all of the ways in which I have things to clear. And one of the things it showed me is that these beautiful people, most of whom were strangers to me, I found myself encountering all sorts of judgments inside of me for reasons I don't even know why. And I felt a little like what's wrong with me? What's going on right now that I'm having all these judgments kind of popping off? But I know now that what was going on is just my awareness now saying, clear this, release this, surrender this too. So there you go. I hope that's given some clarity about what we're doing. It's right now, the program is called Relationship, a Sacred Mirror. I might change the name of it at some point, but it's about being triggered and using those triggers to actually advance your personal and spiritual growth. And it's fabulous. It works. It works right away, and it will only deepen. And when you join, you'll help me learn, and we will learn together how to work with you and what your specific needs are. Okay, take care.